Hello everyone, this is Rajvir and my partner Harjot. This is Covid-19 podcast that you're hearing to. It is one of the trending topic right now all over the world to help us get a better understanding of what is happening around us. COVID-19 is a virus that we weren't prepared for, and at the rate it is accelerating, it is making people from all over the world anxious and seeing them panic on spending large amounts of money on doing grocery shoppings, which I believe it is fair to a limit, but because the government has already mentioned of providing us with food if anything happens like that, or if the country is going on lockdown, self quarantine, or self isolation. So, not going out is the most everyone is required to do at this period of time, and I hope everyone is going to follow this rule. In this podcast, we talked to a 7-Eleven assistant manager. We asked him a few questions related to the coronavirus, and we got to know about his perspective as an employer and also a Canadian citizen that is going through this phase. It was interesting to hear some of his experience, like while doing his job as assistant manager. He also faced many circumstances like customers fighting over small things like basic necessities like milk, tissue papers, which is quite funny to see such incidents at work because we have never seen them before and it has never happened before. And this is becoming viral and people are posting on social media. And as you can see, everything is unavailable at the moment on all stores. So he also talked about how new rules are being adopted where elders are being given the privilege to shop for an hour earlier before the store opens without the disturbance of other young customers, which I think it's a good thing. Laws and legislations are being passed on every day to make it easier to cope with the situations. Our Prime Minister is taking quite strict action that we both believe to protect the Canada from the spread of coronavirus as much as possible. So these were the questions that me and Harjot interviewed, and this was the responses.
What do you think about self-quarantine? Is it good enough? Like people coming from other countries like Italy, England, or even America, will this work?
Yeah, absolutely. I think self quarantine is really good enough especially for someone who is coming from abroad, being in a different country, where especially from Italy and China, if you travel from the places near about that, and then if the border services says that you have to self quarantine yourself for 15 days, so at least we should give ourselves some break and take rest to do self quarantine. So it's benefit for ourselves as well as for the neighbors and the community to protect themselves from the viruses that's going on.
If our state goes on lockdown, that means we cannot work. And what do we do for the income?
Uh, if the state goes on lockdown, as obviously it's said by the government that they'll provide us the $90 billion fund for the businesses. So it means like the businesses will get fund and the employees would get paid even if they don't get to the work. So it's provided by the government, and they also support the foreign if someone's migrating to different countries. So they get a $5,000 loan as soon as possible, and they can just return it when they come back, when they start earning and stuff. So there's opportunities given by the government to stay at home, and if there's a lockdown, so they can earn better. So that's
I was reading an article and that says older people are at more risk for COVID-19. At first, this age was 60 and now I'm hearing that this age goes to 70. I would like to understand like more of what about age makes one more susceptible, or is age just an convenient proxy for general health?
I don't think so. It is just a general proxy for the general health because as older you get, the immune system gets more weak. So if you're 60 and comparatively if the person's 70, is obviously going to have less immune system than the person who's having like the young people. Obviously affects a little later than the older people because of the immune system. So that's why the government is always making people aware, especially the old people, to stay at home if you're old age. Take precautions, take extra care, wash your hands, sanitize, because it's more common that the people who are older gets adapt to the virus as soon as the virus is more in the environment.
As you are assistant manager at 7-Eleven, so what problems you are going through in the store and just because of coronavirus?
so as every day I go to the store, the main problem is we getting out of the products because people think that it's going to be a lockdown, so to store as much as possible, but they don't think about the people who actually need it. So we're talking about the old people. So I've seen old people coming in for the ages of 80 to 70. They take precautions, come into the store, take their time, and they come in and they don't get anything. That's the problem. So the limit we decided to give each person is one or two things per person max for paper towels or the basic necessary if it locks down, so people actually have what they need, not putting all the things together in the storeroom and storing it for the next years. That's just creating a shortage. That's it.
So, what precautions you are taking in the store for employees and for the all the workers?
So for the employees, we definitely had no seating areas because if they see they gather, more people gather, so there's no seating areas now. Employees are constantly wearing hand gloves, need to change hand gloves as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Sanitizers have been to our stores, so every time the employees touches the food or something, they need to sanitize. We've also said all our employees, if anybody is facing any sickness, let us know. We'll give you the day off. It's paid off, so they don't have to worry about anything. If they have any symptoms relating to the viruses, so that doesn't spread anywhere, so they can relax in the home and be secured instead of hesitating to say us that he want to work, but he doesn't say because he has no financial backup. So 7-Eleven is providing them with the backup, and then they can even stay at home and get paid for. Also, the public washrooms have been closed just because of the reason the government wants them to stay at home that rather than roaming around outside using the public washroom. Because if they have all the access, people have all the access, there's no point people can stay at home. So that's why they're limiting amount of people. We've also continued our coffees to be self-served. So before they were self-served, now we'll serve them from our hands. We'll wear gloves, we'll take precautions. Everything has been taken care of now, I guess.
So, after hearing our responses to the questions we interviewed and after our own research, we will advise everyone to stay calm and follow the instructions given by the government. At this, we shall all be protecting ourselves and everyone around us, so please keep social distance from your family, friends, and everyone else. Stay home as much as possible. Don't go to work if you don't feel safe or if you're sick. As the situation is becoming very serious and should not be taken lightly, it doesn't matter how young you are or how much healthy you are, everyone can be affected, and we might be thinking that it won't affect us or it won't happen to us, so let's all face it together and maintain good hygiene habits, which will reduce the chances of us spreading the coronavirus more. And lastly, we will advise everyone not to make fun of this and make memes about it and post it on social media and take this seriously. So stay safe and thank you.